Hi, welcome to Lesson 6, Writing with Dev. Okay, I am anti-feedback. I am totally anti-feedback. The earlier in your work or in the creation of your voice as a writer, the more destabilizing and harmful it is. Everybody's all, oh, I've got to talk to an editor, I've got to show a person, or I need someone to read it for me. No, you fucking don't. You know who's going to read it for you? You. Okay, so yes, you can get an editor. Yes, you can get it out there, but only when it's finished. Remember what I said earlier in one of the classes. Anne Lamott says this is how you write. Do the down draft, the up draft, the dental draft. Only then, when you've finished, show other people. And by that time, you will know the story, the information, the education, the entertainment that you want to tell and have really established the voice that you want to tell it in, so you'll know what will work and what won't. Too early in the piece, it just doesn't work. You haven't fully formed your idea, and then suddenly there's kind of people throwing random things in. Basically, for most feedback, people are giving you feedback on an omelette mix and not an omelette, because it's not fixed. It's not done. It's not set. It's not finished. Because you'll show them something and they will say, oh, I don't know about the ending, I don't know how it kind of like, yeah, it doesn't matter what they say. They're wrong. They're wrong because it's not finished. Imagine if you came into my kitchen this morning and I said, hey, have a taste of this omelette, and you put a finger in like some eggs that were beaten up in a bowl, and you go, this is the worst omelette I've ever tasted. Of course it's awful. It's not finished. Everything sucks till it's finished, and most things still fucking suck. The bottom line is, we don't write to be paid or get profile or win prizes. We write because it makes us feel better, okay? You have to become your own self-sourcing, putting your own feedback loop. It's only when you're at the end that you even know what the fuck it is that you've written and how the fuck you want to write it. So you have to teach yourself. So be aware, external validation is very tempting, and so many people are crazy for external validation because you want people to be like mummy and put your picture on the fridge. Grow the fuck up, okay? Grow the fuck up. You give yourself all of the information and the feedback you need. I had these mugs made up. Sorry, I don't have any more that I can sell. And it's this is this writer's mug. And on the back is all the feedback you need. It says, this is brilliant, you are awesome, just keep going. All right, so that's all the feedback you need, and you can give it to yourself. Remember that in order to write, you need to build up a head of steam. Talking about it dissipates that steam. Even telling people that you're going to write dissipates that head of steam. So if you ask someone to read your work or give you feedback, a few things can happen. Firstly, it's not finished, so they're giving feedback on an omelette mix, not an omelette. Second thing is, they mightn't even like omelettes. They mightn't like your work. They might like to read. They mightn't like the genre you've written in. They might be quite envious. So their response to you might be not what they really think, but what they actually feel. Might be like, yeah, hasn't this been done before? Or, you know, I'm not sure whether you're a real writer type. So much of it comes from envy and resentment, okay? So you have to be your own cheerleader. You are brilliant. This is awesome. Just keep going. So people will respond to the obligation of reading with not wanting to do it, not really liking what you've written, being envious of what you've written, not being really into the genre, and also not really knowing what to say. That's the thing. I think people think it's just not good enough to say, you're brilliant, this is awesome, just keep going. But you know what? Dev here says that is fine and that's enough. That's all I ever do. That's why we do no feedback in my Gunners Writing Masterclasses, no critiquing, no comments, because it doesn't matter what people think. You know, imagine if my kid shows me something that they've written, I go, oh, that's brilliant, that's so great, that's fantastic, because they're my kid. What if it's that person who I'm slightly envious of, who I think, you know, is far more kind of able than I am, and well, actually I'm not like this, but I know that this kind of thing happens, and I might feel the need to kind of take the air out of their balloon, take the jam out of their donut. So that's what you're going to get, okay? You can't rely on it. When you're finished and you need a professional editor, that's a whole nother thing. But at this point, you've got to finish it so you know what the fuck it is and how the fuck that you want to say it. When I was young and I would go off to theatre and gigs and stand up, and I thought everything was kind of great. Everything's great, everything's great, everything's great. Afterwards, people would say, oh, you know, what do you think? And I'd go, you know, standing out the front with my Styvo and my cheap glass of red wine in a plastic cup, and I'd say, oh, could have done with a bit of a dramaturg, or not sure about the lighting, or thought the set was a bit average. You know why? Because I wanted to sound smart. I wanted to sound smart. I thought it was fine, or I thought it was shit, but I didn't really know why. So you've got to realise that people will feel that they can't just say, this is great, keep going, okay? But take it from me. This is great. Just keep going. All right, let's get cracking. So today we're going to use a bit of bling, which I use in a lot of my writers' masterclasses. Okay, so I've got about 4 things that I'm going to show you, and I want you to choose one from each of the ramekin I'm going to show you and put it down, and we're going to use these in a prompt exercise. Okay, first ramekin is money, okay? So in this, I've got a collection of foreign money. We've got a 10,000 dong note from Vietnam. Gammon to any Vietnamese who are out there. What have we got? Oh, this is a German Deutschmark. Okay, it's 10. This is a Singapore $2 note with a boat on it. This is a Maltese note. It's a lira, and it's 10 lira. This is an American $1 note, which has got a bit of a texture mark on it. And I'll just pull out one more. This is a New Zealand $5 note. Hello to all the Kiwis out there and the people who love the Kiwis, me being one. So choose one of those. So you can choose one of the numbers I said, one of the nationalities, the whole idea of cash. I've got some coins in here too. So maybe you might want to write something about coins, wallets, anything kind of related to those. Anything that I put out there. So that's number 1. So that's one prompt, okay? Choose one, pause it if you need, and keep going. All right, here's another thing. So I go down to Bunnings, where lowest prices is just the beginning. But you know what's next after the beginning is writing prompts. I'm a very big fan of doing things like going in and getting paint swatches. So can you see all of those colors? Choose a color for your second writing prompt, or I'm going to read out the names of these colors. This is called Stonington Beige, Lucky Charm, Rum Orange, Grey Bonnet. I thought it said Grey Boomer, so you can do Grey Boomer if you like. Red Licorice, Retro Gold. Okay, the next ramekin, prompt ramekin, I've got an old iPod, a clothes peg, a dice, a minty, moments like these, a pencil sharpener, a little markazite brooch, or a blue glass heart. Okay, choose one of those. You might have to rewind it to the start to follow all these, but what you're doing is choosing one of these things for each of your prompts, and I'm going to time you. And the last thing is some random guys. I couldn't find any Sheilas, but I'll get a ramekin of Sheilas for next time. Little robot Sheila. Actually, why not? Little non-binary frog. Little Smurf of absolutely no gender. And this is an alien Lego crocodile. All right, so what you're going to do is, so we've chosen 4 ramekins, okay? I want you to have one thing from each of those ramekins written down in any order. You can write them at the top of your page or type them at the top of your document, and you are going to spend 3 minutes on each prompt, and we're going to do 4 blocks of 3. Okay, 4 blocks of 3. You can write 4 short stories, or you can write 1 long story, winding them all in. But I am going to get the timer going right now. So you're going to start your first subject, your first prompt. So 1 piece or 4 small pieces. And you're going to start 3 minutes now. And I'm going to write with you. Get cracking. Don't look at me. I'm just getting my piece of paper. No. Okay, change prompts and let's go to prompt number 2, whichever you choose. Write about that or weave it into, write a second short story, or weave it into the one that you've chosen. Okay, 3 minutes. Great. Prompt number 3, whatever you choose. Okay, last prompt. Okay, great, terrific. I got a Smurf, a New Zealand dollar, a Lucky Charm green, and an old iPod. You can create little bundles of prompts and stimulus yourself. So like a lucky dip in a way, put it into, gather them bits and pieces, old currency, go down to Bunnings, grab some swatches, start collecting some little knickknacks and some little kind of figures from around your house and in your travels. You'd be quite amazed. Stick them in separate bags or separate little containers. If you wanted to, you could put them in bags and kind of pull them out randomly and do these kind of exercises on your own. They're a lot of fun and they're really stimulating, and they can pull you off track because you're getting something from outside to help you not motivate you, because motivation follows action. You know, a lot of people will come to my Gunners Writing Masterclasses and they say they want inspiration or they want motivation. If you're waiting for inspiration, you're not a writer, you're a waiter, and that's fine. But work in the cafe or in the restaurant, we just sit the fuck down and write. You know, being a writer is not some kind of namby-pamby fancy thing that other people do. Being a writer is just someone who writes because it makes them feel better. Okay, motivation follows action. All right, so you just have to start and then you'll feel like it. My mum said to me not long ago, well, if you're so smart about all these things, how do you motivate yourself to get motivated? You just fucking start. You hate write, you say, I'm going to do 5 minutes of hate writing, and you start doing it, and the next thing you know, you're kind of doing it, and you might even kind of enjoy it. It's a bit like, you know what it's like? If you, like me and like most people I know, I manage and suffer and triumph and am at times defeated by anxiety and depression. But you know what, you know, you're lying there in bed and you really need to get up, and the next thing you know, like all you do is you put your feet on the ground, and the next thing you know, you're walking. You know, you pick up that leash for the dog, and the next thing you know, he's going to the park. You pick up that washing, and the next thing you know, you're hanging it on the line. You put those bathers or those togs or those cozies or those swimsuits on, and the next thing you know, you're swimming. You put the runners on, the next thing you know, you're running. Simple, small. Just open a document and say, I'm just going to write one sentence. That's what you need to do. Okay? So we've got another letter. Getting great letters. You know, all the things you can do if you want to donate. Go to my, the link that'll be somewhere around here. Go to catherinedeveny.com/classes, and the first link you'll probably see will be about these online writing classes. You can catch up with all of the classes. They're all there. There's ways to donate, and also send me an email like these people have if you'd like me to answer a specific question. I won't respond to you directly, but I might be able to do what I'm doing now and respond online. Hey, Catherine, I've been writing a memoir for the past 4 months or so, and I'm nearly finished the bulk of it. This is from Michael, by the way. Just wondering if you could impart me any good tips about how to edit it and things to think about before publishing a memoir. I have a few people lined up to edit and proofread, but it would be great if you had any Perlers to throw there as well. Well, as a matter of fact, my favourite sentence is, I need your advice. So I've just delivered the manuscript of my memoir, which at this stage is called True North. I know you might be reading this in the future and it may have an entirely different name. So my first and my off the top of my head answers, actually, don't fucking tell them what you're going to do, Catherine. Just fucking do it. And that's what you need to do in your writing. Don't tell, show. Okay? Show what you're going to do. Okay, so Michael said, I have a few people lined up to edit and proofread. Why a few? Choose one. It's too confusing. Don't choose people that you know unless they've edited for you before. Get a professional editor if you really want to do this shit properly. A professional editor is fairly easy to find. Ask people that you know, and if not, if you are actually finished, you can send me an email and I will send you to an editor, but you need to be fucking finished. Most people I send to an editor, they just say they're not finished. They go to them, they pay them $100, and basically you pay $100 for the editor to say, you're not finished yet, mate. So choose one person. And you said, you nearly finished the bulk of it, right? So nearly finished the bulk of it. First, finish it, right? Michael, if you're listening, just fucking finish it. And then choose one person. And to choose a good editor, you need to get a good all-rounder, someone who specialises in your genre, or someone who you feel has got a good lock on you. And also, editors are not always right. They generally are. Editors are basically not human beings. They're superheroes with pencil cases, all right? So that's what you need to do. And the Perlers I'd like to throw at you are two things. When you're writing a memoir, it does not need to be factually accurate. It just needs to be an authentic artistic impression. There are memoir classes that we do through Gunners. Hop on my classes page if you're interested. You don't have to worry about it being factual. I might do something a bit later about how you deal with issues about being concerned about legal consequences or what your family are going to think. But generally, the short answer to that is just fucking finish it. No one has even read it yet. Write it the way it comes out. Do the downdraft of it. Don't worry about what people are going to think, upsetting Nana, or any legal consequences, because there's not going to be any of that when no one has read it yet. Get to the end. Get to the absolute end when you're totally done, and then we'll talk about that. Also, I think with memoirs and with any writing work, and it's a combination of letting yourself off the hook and giving yourself a bit of a push. And just keep in mind that you can't yell at a flower. Some things take a while. So, this is the usual words. This book probably took me, I don't know, a couple of months to write. And probably from the inception of it to getting out in the world, probably 2 years or something. But didn't take super long to write. The memoir, maybe 10 years in a way. I've been kind of putting bits and pieces together. It's had a million different titles. Rougher Than Usual Handling, Self-Sourcing Pudding, High Summer, Deep Winter, True Spring, but it sounded a bit too much like Eat, Pray, Love, and it was a bit unwieldy. So just remember, you can't yell at a flower. You do have to chip away at it, and you will know when it's time to get cracking on it again. Another thing I've learned about memoirs, what I think, a good memoir has a bit of a theme. Otherwise, it's just an autobiography and it's just a bit of a cooking list. You need to, for me, a good memoir, and it is my favourite genre to read, is something where you can see a person's life and their personality and what shaped them through some kind of theme. That's what I really love. So thank you for your letter, Michael. We're going to do 2 quick last 3-minute prompts before we end. Actually, we're going to do one. I'm just looking at the time. Brian Eno, here's another. These are great. You could get these. These are cards made by Brian Eno and Peter Schmidt, and they're called Oblique Strategies. I don't know what you call them, but I use them all the time in creativity. It says, these cards evolve from separate observations of principles underlying what we were doing. Sometimes they were recognized in retrospect, intellect catching up with intuition. Sometimes they were identified as they were happening. Sometimes they were formulated. Okay, if you want to, why don't you, I think there's an app. If you can find the app to Oblique Strategies, get one randomly thrown at you or choose one that resonates with you. Otherwise, what I'm going to leave you with now is I want you to do 5 more minutes after we finish off. But I'm going to read you out maybe 8 or 9, and you can choose one from here if you don't have a box of Oblique Strategies or you can't access them online. So the first one is, what mistakes did you make last time? Do 5 minutes on any of these. Don't break the silence. Where is the edge? Where does the frame start? Define an area as safe and use it as an anchor. How would you have done it? Go to an extreme, move back to a more comfortable place. Retrace your steps. Okay, choose one of those, set your own timer for 5 minutes, and we'll see you for lesson 7. Thank you so much again. Remember, pull your finger out, get over yourself. Your excuses are bullshit. Bye.